1 hour of work and get $8 for it, without understanding exactly that he was not being the one that was exploited, that I was the one that was being exploited. Because one day, and this is what I think that turned my whole attitude toward work and toward education, because one day I had worked under the house, and I think he had paid me $16 for the work that I performed that day, and at the same time, when he came to collect for that day, he was paid $250 for what I had done. So I got $8 and he got $250, and I thought that I had beat him, but I was the one that was shortchanged in a real sense. And so I came to the conclusion that what I had to do was to find me some method of trying to get a little more education. I was fortunate to have met one of my high school friends, one of my friends after I returned to the United States, and he told me that his sister, who had attended A&M College in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, had made arrangements for him to start at A&M College as a freshman in 1961. And so since I knew him so well, I came to the conclusion that if he could be successful in college, certainly I could be successful in college. And so at that point, I made a decision that I would work for my tuition. And during that time, I was able to accumulate $79. And that was the entrance fee that I had to pay at A&M College in order to start my education career. And that was the last $79 or the last dime that I paid for my higher education after I paid my maintenance dues at A&M College in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Of course, while I was there, not only did I learn a lot of things about the African experience and about what it meant to be an African and about how important it was to be successful and how important it was to study hard and all of those things. And during my first part of my second semester, I became involved with an organization that I believe to have played a significant role in my entire college career, and that was a social fraternity at the time called the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, because when I first heard of that organization, I knew absolutely nothing about it, but I had a teacher who was my advisor and who was also the chairman of the history department, and he had discovered something in me in terms of my study habits and my desire to be successful, and he had made arrangements for me to be at a freshman program. I was put on the program, and I was given the highest award for a student in the history department. And out of that, I received a $100 scholarship at that time. That was in 1961. And at that time, I inquired as to if I were so good in history, then what did I need to do in order to not only be good in history, but be successful? And somebody told me at that time, while I was a sophomore and a member of the Alpha Phi Alpha organization at A&M College in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Gamma Delta was the chapter name, I was at that time encouraged to understand that if I wanted to get everything that the history curriculum had to offer at other schools, I had to get me a Doctor of Philosophy degree. And so it was in 1962 that I became committed to the fact that I would receive and I would work toward a Doctor of Philosophy degree, even though I had never known anybody who had ever had a Doctor of Philosophy degree, nor did I know exactly what it meant to have a Doctor of Philosophy degree. And I often say that had I understood the challenges that I would have to go through and overcome over the next many, many years, because I was successful in completing my college degree at A&M College in 1965, and then I went in 1966 to Ohio University, where I did my Master's of History degree, and then in 1971, I received my Doctor of Philosophy degree from Kent State University, and as I said earlier, all of those represented areas that I had covered in my own life that I had not paid for. I received as a part of my Doctor of Philosophy studies the National Defense Fellowship, which allowed me to do all of my education in a real sense free. And once I finished my education at Kent State University, I worked a year as an assistant at Kent State University, and in 1972 I came to Nashville, Tennessee, where I worked for the next 4 years as a professor, as the first African in the history department at Vanderbilt University, and I worked there from 1972 until 1976. But in 1976, I felt the yearning to go back to some historical black institution of higher education, and therefore I became involved with Tennessee State University, coming to Tennessee State University in 1976, and finding after I arrived on the campus that there was a great challenge that was laid down by the state in terms of trying to make sure that Tennessee State University became a part of the education system throughout the state, and that was known as the system of merger. And I almost immediately became involved with the president of Tennessee State University, Dr. Frederick Humphreys, and for the next 10 years I worked hand in hand with him, helping to bring about the merger of Tennessee State University and other institutions throughout another institution that was an institution that was owned by the state of Tennessee, called the University of Tennessee at Nashville. And so we merged those institutions, and shortly after that, Dr. Humphreys moved to Florida and left me by myself here at Tennessee State University after having worked for him for 10 years. But almost immediately I became involved in trying to